This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
When you were younger, if you set up a lemonade stand, sold the most Girl Scout cookies in your troop, got up early every day to deliver the newspaper, welcome to a show for you and your dreams today. I'm Scott Sander. This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Different kind of a business show. The show speaks to anyone who has considered launching a business. We talk to successful owners, community leaders, our own team of experts. They share their expertise and experiences, including what not to do. Our 7 segments cover the things you'll need to know when you start and grow a small business. I invite you to watch us every Sunday morning here on Wish TV or catch the live stream on wishtv.com. You can also see much of our content and share it on demand through BE&O Our site keeps growing with new stories and resources. For more, try our podcast, a way to listen to us when you want, where you want. We also encourage you to sign up for our newsletter. We update it every Tuesday. Let's get you started. Here's what's coming up today on Business, Equity, and Opportunities. We serve up access to capital with a side of fries. Indianapolis Parks Department is looking for diverse contractors. Shea is back with tips for keeping track of your finances in the digital age. And we talk with a well-known local attorney about what a small business owner should consider when facing questions about the law. Our industry focus is on a workforce development program, and numbers count in our success story. Today we're getting started by meeting February's Certified Minority and Women-Owned Enterprise Vendor of the Month. It's a family matter.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
A third-generation firm, Powers & Sons, has deep roots in Central Indiana and Chicagoland construction industries.
We want to encourage other minority firms, ex-BEs, to register with OMWBD because that provides opportunities to do business with the city and helps create a network of diversity in our local businesses. So, congratulations, Maimon, for being the Minority Business of the Month.
Great.
Here in February.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah.
It means a lot getting recognized and the attention that it brings with it. Means a lot for our organization. We really just strive to be a good contractor, and when you get recognized, it's really meaningful, especially from the city of Indianapolis.
The very reason why we're doing the recognition of ex-BE businesses for the month is to promote greater certification for minority, women, veteran, and disabled-owned businesses. And I'm proud of our office's outreach to make sure that more businesses get certified to do the work. Maimond's grandfather, his father, the family's story is exactly what I hope for all minority-owned businesses. As I said in my opening remarks, the projects that Powers & Sons have worked on are significant projects. And Maimon's service on the Indianapolis Airport Authority Board has been profound. So we just simply want to recognize that this is a great opportunity. Indianapolis supports and embraces diverse businesses and wants to make sure that we're doing everything as a city to see them succeed.
Our company was first started by my grandfather. He developed a passion for construction, working for his father, my great-grandfather, in Mississippi in the early 30s. After he got back from the war, World War II, he decided to move to the Chicago area where my grandmother was, and so he followed her and came up, and most of his friends were going to the steel mills, but he wanted to follow his passion and do construction. Unfortunately, back then, African Americans weren't allowed to work on just any construction project. They were only allowed to work on construction projects in the African American community. And so he was fortunate to be able to find a developer that was building homes for the African American community, which gave him the opportunity to do his passion, construction. And from there, he learned the business and how to build homes, And then in 1967, with the inspiration and encouragement from my grandmother, his wife, they started Powers & Sons Construction in February of 1967.
Businesses start, they grow, hopefully. Sometimes they struggle. We're there to do everything we can to help them through difficult economic periods. But, you know, the fact that, and I really feel that this needs to be emphasized, just several months ago, we acknowledged and recognized on the East 38th Street corridor a partnership between Cook Medical, who built a facility, and Goodwill, and the neighborhood in East 38th Street. And it's a 100 employee medical device manufacturing firm on East 38th Street. The point I'm making is they set out to make sure that every single contractor was an XBE. All the work that was done to build that facility was done by minority-owned businesses. In the days gone by, people said, you cannot do that. You have to have a diverse and majority-owned businesses. And yet, here we are now today where they've done it. So I think that is a great example of the commitment that businesses in Indianapolis have and that the city has to making sure that minority-owned businesses are uplifted and affirmed.
It brings me passion just seeing our company continue to grow, the people we've been able to recruit and retain, the projects we've been able to be a part of. It's just great having that, the opportunity to look back and see all the bricks and mortar, all the cool projects that we've put in place over the years.
Getting started, made possible by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
If you'd like to find out more about Powers & Sons, we have links at beoshow.com. And if you'd like to ask us a question, perhaps appear on our show, email us at beo@wishtv.com. Up next, if you need to gain access to capital, you might find it underneath the Golden Arches. We serve up that story after a side of these messages. Stay with us. Welcome again to Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. It is time for Access to Capital. Today we're talking about franchises. When you're getting your business off the ground, name recognition can be important. Few names are as well known as McDonald's.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Access to Capital.
Reggie and Tracey Jones are McDonald's franchise owner-operators. Together they own 6 restaurants and tell us they share the company's commitment to empower minds and build leaders.
I got started in Denver, Colorado as a crew person and worked my way up in the management program, and that's where we met.
Our first restaurant was in Denver, Colorado. It was a wonderful opportunity, a wonderful community. We had a blast there, and then the Lord blessed us the opportunity to come to Indianapolis, Indiana, and this opportunity has been such a privilege to serve the Indianapolis community and the surrounding areas, and we feel certainly honored to be a part of it. Yes, we're in Fishers, Noblesville, Elwood, and Alexandria.
In Indianapolis.
And quite naturally, Indianapolis, yes. Well, under McDonald values, and they align with our values so much. One of them is community, and in Tracy, in my mind, community is everything. The community support us. The community is who makes us. And so we only feel that it's right and appropriate to give back and make sure that we find the community better, leave it better than we found it, as well as make sure we do our best to have a very good legacy within each community we do business with.
Well, it was truly a blessing through COVID because McDonald's was prepared. We had the drive-through, we started the digital, and so from there it just grew, and it's continuing to grow and to progress.
It's amazing and it's so wonderful. Although it's a global program, it reaches right down in the community. So when the opportunity arises and young people within our community need help and they apply for help, those scholarships are available for them to help them further their education. So it's one of the great benefits of working with global brands such as McDonald's, and it's just amazing when you think about it. Well, I always say the first thing I always say is trust the Lord. That's number one. And then the ultimate word, I believe, is opportunity. The opportunities are limitless. Where they can go, what they can accomplish, what they can achieve. And so, but not only that, when you look at that, then it's an opportunity, as we said, to give back, to help young people, to help all people. So to help the community be better. So, and it connects. So it don't just connect with that community, it interlocks and intertwines on a global basis. Because at the end of the day, McDonald's is one brand, the greatest iconic brand in the world. And that brand, when it unites as one. And that's the power that beseeches every community that has a McDonald's. Well, we trust the Lord for the future, and we certainly pray that we'll be led and guided as the Lord would have His will to be done. No, I would think that as we think about it, Tracy and myself, and I believe to answer that question as well, is to see dreams fulfilled. That is certainly an exciting and rewarding phase of being a part of McDonald's. It's very exciting when people's dreams are fulfilled and they come back and say thank you for being a part of it along the way.
Helping the community, helping the people that work for us, doing things for their family, and encouraging them even to do something different if they want to. If they want to go to school, helping them, and just encourage them to let them know they can do something.
Well, it's certainly a great honor, and Tracy and myself, we consider it quite the privilege. And certainly we know that God, through Christ Jesus, has used us in a marvelous way. And it's an opportunity to not only do good for our family, but opportunity to bless so many families and other communities as well.
If you'd like to know more about franchises or any of our stories, visit BEOshow.com. Coming up later, our in-house accounting and bookkeeping guru, Shea, is back talking finances in the digital age. Before that, diversity news from Indy Parks. We'll be back after these messages.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results.
Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. This week in business, we look at Indy Parks. Whenever the city has a new parks project, it often needs outside contractors. Wednesday this week, the department is holding a Diverse Contractor Outreach event.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. This week in business.
The possibilities at the park come from David Fredericks, the city's Director of Minority and Women Business Development.
So the upcoming Indy Parks Projects Diversity Outreach event is taking place on February the 15th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Riverside Community Center. We're excited about this outreach event because one, Parks is going to be doing a huge amount of work over the next 2 to 3 years. And so we want to get the word out to as many of our diverse vendors as possible. And the main reason why I'm excited about this was because unlike other projects where we may not have as much control about how the packages are put together and things like that, because Indy Parks is sort of leading the design and setting up the scopes of services for these projects, we're going to be able to break up some of these projects into smaller packages that we feel diverse vendors will be able to handle. So as opposed to, a bid getting put out that's $1 million or $2 million that may be too large for one of our vendors to handle, we may be able to get some things that are put out there that are $200,000, $250,000. So it will hopefully generate some learning opportunities for some of our vendors, but then, like I said, hopefully give them an economic opportunity as well. So we're excited about that. Well, first and foremost, I think it's good to learn about the projects and to learn about our process. A lot of folks who get certified by our office really don't take that next step to learn what's the process to do business with the city of Indianapolis. And so by coming to these events, they get to learn, what the process looks like, who are the individuals that you may have to meet with and interact and things like that. But then also, like I said, because of the uniqueness of some of the projects that are going to be happening with Indy Parks, there's going to be opportunities where some smaller vendors who normally may not get an opportunity may get an opportunity, or they may be able to partner and do a joint venture to go in and tackle some of these projects. We're also going to be working and encouraging some of our larger diverse and non-diverse companies to think about taking on a mentor-protege approach with some of these vendors, because like I said, it's going to be a lot of work over the next 2 to 3 years, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities. So we want to make sure everybody gets a fair shake at that. And the best way to learn about what these opportunities are and to get your name out there, to find out who all of the major players are, is to come up and to show up at these types of events. So that's why we're really encouraging as many people as possible to come out on February the 15th. The event is free. The only thing folks are asked to do is to register via Eventbrite. If they go to Eventbrite and search for Indy Parks Projects Diversity Outreach Event, they'll take them to the page. They can register. Registration is free. Even if a diverse company is not certified with our office yet, we still want them to come out. We're going to have certification officers on site that will be able to answer questions about what it means to get certified, how quickly that can happen. So we're hoping to even find some new businesses at this event as well that we can get certified. But yeah, we're encouraging everybody to come out. This event is free, and they will learn some good information. Yeah, so a lot of these projects, some of them will start as soon as the weather breaks, but they're going to go, well into the fall. But then also, as mentioned, and everyone is aware of now, the exciting news of the dollars that were donated by Lilly Endowment to Indy Parks. That's going to spur projects for the next 2 to 3 years. So there's going to be a lot of work happening. And so this will sort of just be the first kickoff. I would imagine that we'll probably do some other outreach events as the season progresses to talk about the different projects that are coming up. But like I said, it's always good to be in the room when these conversations start to occur, and that's what we're trying to encourage our diverse businesses to do. So the mayor's going to come. He is going to sort of kick off the event, give a welcome, so to speak. We've also got a couple of the local elected officials who are big supporters of Indy Parks that will be there. But then Indy Parks is going to talk about some of the projects that they have coming up, give a little bit of a timeline on some of those projects. And then we'll talk a little bit about the certification program, what we do, what that looks like, what the process looks like to get certified. And so the hope is folks will learn about the projects, get an idea of the timeline, and then we'll also talk about our progress and what we're doing with the program. We're also going to have a couple of our resource tables available as well. Some of the local organizations, such as the CDC, which is the Community Development Corporations, a couple of those are going to be in the house because they play an important role in working with Indy Parks to not only sort of give us their feedback and guidance on how they want to see these projects occur in their neighborhood, but they also assist us in doing outreach and connecting and bringing in additional vendors to the process.
Coming up, heading off the kinds of legal problems that can crop up in small businesses. A local attorney who you may know well gives us advice. First, Shea has tips for keeping track of your finances in the digital age. His thoughts in 95 seconds.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
Welcome back to Business, Equity, and Opportunities, our accounting and bookkeeping segment, continuing a conversation that we started with Shea, the Chief Financial Officer for Circle City Broadcasting, of course, the parent company of Wish TV, and leadership of the work that we do here on our broadcast as well. Thanks for being with us. You ready to jump into this part two of sort of taking things online with your books?
Yes, please, Scott. Let's get after it.
All right. So I have to confess, I still think of an accountant or a bookkeeper, and I've got visions of a big stack of ledgers and some thick number 2 pencils, maybe a monocle, and you guys poring over this sort of sorcery of the numbers. How realistic is that at all these days, or is the whole world now digital?
No, I think what we have transitioned to is far more electronic-based business handling, and that includes our banking relationships, that includes our cash receipts, our payments coming in, our accounts receivable coming in from our customers, that includes the disbursements going out to our vendors. So much of how we operate and how businesses operate these days is literally at the stroke of a touch of your finger on your mouse pad. So and it honestly has made things more efficient, and it has certainly allowed for, I think, accessibility advantages, whether they be, you can basically run your entire office from remotely if need be. And we found that to be a massive advantage in the past few years.
Do you find that people are comfortable making the full move over? And is it tough if you don't jump in with both feet? In other words, I feel more comfortable if I keep this in a checking account, like a conventional checkbook ledger, but for this, maybe I'll use it. Would you rather people see people take one strategy and really go for it?
I think so. I think it makes sense to have a full systemic commitment to that online aspect. And what I found is, the kind of people who generally push back on that do eventually get won over. Eventually when they see how efficient things can be, and you're not typing out vendor information on individual checks, things of that nature. You can do business banking now where you can initiate entire check runs through your banking relationship. And so it's, I think people, once they realize that there is a little upfront, maybe time that you have to invest in that process, once you get over that hurdle, it saves you so much more time on the back end that I fully endorse going as digital as you can.
Is there much paper anymore, even just record keeping? I mean, just out of your camera view, are there stacks of file cabinets full of the last 10 years of your work?
Oh, Scott, I would never tell, right? But of course, there are some, paper-based systems. For instance, our vendors still send us, many of our vendors send us paper invoices.
Sure.
And so, that is not a choice of ours, and so we have to accommodate one way or the other. But yes, as much as we can, we've tried to streamline those aspects and get everything as digital as possible. And I feel like, based on relationships we have with others, that many others are doing the same as well.
And who knows, maybe your other vendors will watch and say, well, that seemed to be pretty efficient, and they'll join online as well. Shea, as always, thank you.
Thank you very much, Scott.
For more information about accounting and bookkeeping or any of the topics we cover here, visit BEOshow.com. And while you're there, please sign up for our newsletter. We update it every week. And subscribe to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. Listen whenever you want. Coming up, what a workforce success development program is and why you might need one. First, though, running your business day to day when legal questions arise. What to do? You're watching Business Equity and Opportunities.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results.
Sunday morning on Business Equity and Opportunities, I'm Scott Sander. Every business comes with its own set of rules. Navigating them could lead you at some point to look for legal help.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, running your business day to day.
Attorney Nathaniel Lee has been a fixture in the Indianapolis legal community for more than 30 years. An accomplished trial lawyer, he spent his life learning about all aspects of the law, from insurance to taxes, and has expertise to share for businesses large and small.
Well, the initial decision that a small business owner must make is the entity in which they decide to operate under. There is a variety of options in our laws, from a general corporation, which people call a C corporation, to limited partnership, limited liability companies. And they all have different tax rules and things like that. So a small business owners will be well served before they start the business by meeting with their local lawyer, talk them through the process. And if they do the business entity correctly at the front end of it, then they should have a greater degree of success at the end. We're a highly regulated type state. There's a lot of regulations that applies to owning a business. For example, restaurants, of course, they have inspections, and every business have some type of oversight. Even now, we have simple process like Notary Public. Indiana now requires Notary Public to have a test. So that was a departure from what I learned early on. I was a notary back in the 80s, and I just didn't renew it, but now you have to pass the test. Critical issue for any small business is revenue. In order to stay out of trouble, they have to pay their bills. And so you have to have a plan in place where you get revenue. You have to, if you're in the retail industry, you have to have customers come in the door. Restaurant or industry like that, you have to have food service, you have to have dollars and cents going through the cash register each day to pay the bill. So the most difficult aspect of any small business, of course, is revenue. Because every day you're going to have expenses. And so you have to stay ahead of the game in order to create a better path for success. Well, it's difficult because there's so many lawyers that advertise now, and unfortunately the lawyers that advertise for the most part don't really practice. They're marketing people, so they don't go to the courtroom and things like that. So you hire a lawyer, but You never see that lawyer. And people make decisions on hiring lawyers based on marketing, not based upon results or skill set. So I would encourage people to try to get people that they know and try to find a lawyer that is not going to charge them too much. If you start a small business, you need a break. Oftentimes, I don't make my living doing small business representation, although in the 80s I represented about 100 small businesses. I would do the corporations and bylaws at a very low rate, and with the idea that they became successful, they could pay more money. At the beginning, my fees were really cheap. I tried to work with them because the structure component is critical, right? You have to have the articles of incorporation, bylaws, regulatory compliance, licenses, and of course, you have to set up the correct tax structure and record keeping. I would have my business owners always set up a correct financial path for success, right? And back then, we had Quicken and QuickBook Pro and things like that. So from the beginning, and I try to get the small businesses to have electronic records and make sure that they keep good track record. One other thing too now, in today's society, we see a proliferation of crime, right? And so now, all the small businesses, I tell them, you can't operate a business today without having a surveillance system. You have to have cameras. They're cheap. You can buy a complete surveillance system for $300 now. They're not expensive, but you got to have that in today's society because we have not just the crime you read about in the newspaper or see on TV, but we have the dark web now has changed the dynamic of how business operate. For example, we have a high degree of fraud, and I can give you 1,000 stories about that. And so you have to have a mechanism in place to try to protect yourself.
If you'd like to learn a bit more about Lee Costle and Crowley, LLP, or any of our contributors, visit BEOshow.com. Later, our success story. First, though, in our industry focus, we'll focus on workforce success. How do you measure it? How to achieve it? We're back on the other side of these messages. Welcome back to Business Equity and Opportunities. Time for our industry focus. Every job comes with some kind of training. It may pay to get more of that once you're doing the work to excel where you are and advance in your career. Enter Project Azul.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Industry Focus.
Project Azul is a nonprofit focused on supporting individuals in Central Indiana who are unemployed or underemployed and interested in starting a career in logistics or manufacturing. And we provide support to individuals by providing career coaching and barrier busting, enrolling them in a training program through one of our partners at either Vincennes University Logistics Training and Education Center or Purdue University Manufacturing Extension Partnership. And then once they complete a training, we work with one of our employer partners to find an opportunity that fits their employment needs. We were started by Tom Morales, who is the co-founder of the Morales Group, and Tom was looking at real data that he had in his pool of individuals who were being offered entry-level jobs. And these jobs, they didn't offer a wage that was sustainable for their needs and their family's needs. So he started to dig into the data to see what's going on, why are individuals only being offered entry-level jobs, and found through discussions with employers that there was a skills gap. And Project Azul was started as a nonprofit to help fill that skills gap and help get people into better jobs that offer opportunities to not be an entry-level job. So we work to get individuals into jobs that are above entry level and that offer opportunity for continued career growth.
We look at the individual like as an individual, they're not a number, and so that allows us to, build rapport and then understand, what their employment needs are. I think we're unique in that sense because, we don't just focus on the training component. Once a person completes the training, then they come to me with, with that hope that, they're going to attain better employment. And so we recently served a veteran. This individual came referred to us through a partnering agency. He had been out of the workforce for many, many years due to him being the sole caregiver of his mother. And of course, when his mother passed away, he decided that he wanted to, go back to the workforce, but with the, gap of, employment, he was having a lot of difficulties landing a good opportunity in spite of him having really great skills.
So we work with a number of different employer partners to help individuals identify a job that fits their needs. So we look at things like what side of town the employer is on, what shifts they offer, what hourly wages they offer, what types of benefits they provide. And then we work with these different employer partners and our candidates to identify who fits where, and we provide that referral to those employer partners so that they can get that direct hire job. So we partner with Vinson's University Logistics Training and Education Center to provide a couple different trainings. Forklift Essentials, where they get trained on up to 6 different type of fork trucks. We also have a Team Lead Essentials where they can learn the basics and the foundational skills of what's essential to be an effective team lead. We also have a Warehouse Associate Essentials training that's an overview of warehousing and also includes the team lead and forklift trainings. And then through Purdue University Manufacturing Extension Partnership, we have kind of a manufacturing 101 type course that's really like a manufacturing boot camp.
It absolutely, makes me want to continue doing this work because of the, that's the reward that you get, is knowing and seeing how lives are transformed. Taking people, from being hopeless to, giving them hope. And not only that, the opportunities that we provide them with are meaningful, to their lives because it's not just any job. I mean, this is, opportunity for careers.
I really love what we do here at Project Azul. My family was a blue-collar family, and the opportunity to grow a career is something that I think is really important in these industries. We know that these industries are essential, these workers are essential to really making sure that we have everything that we need as a society. So being able to provide individuals with that opportunity for career growth and that added support that they need to get to the next step is really what excites me about doing this work. Anyone in Central Indiana who's interested in starting a career in logistics or manufacturing or growing their career if they are currently in the industries, we provide support to anyone who is at least 18 years or older, has authorization to work in the United States, and has a government identification or a driver's license depending on the training that they're interested in.
If you'd like to know more about Project Azul and the work that the group does, visit our website, beoshow.com. When we return, our success story takes us back to the numbers. You're watching Business Equity and Opportunity. Stay with us.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. We wrap things up every week with a success story. This week, a tale of family and financial services.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities Success Story.
The mission of Numbers Count LLC is to provide clients with the technical expertise and financial support they need to succeed in an ever-changing business landscape. Letitia Maples Johnson is a co-founder.
Numbers Count is a financial management firm, and what we do is we handle the 3 largest contributors to your profit margin, which is your people. So we do all the payroll and HR. We do the accounting, so the finances, and then lastly is your AR. So what's your largest source of revenue, and ensuring that you're maximizing on that. The reason that we started was because we were doing accounting in a lot of smaller businesses, and we found that they were losing a lot of money, especially when it comes to their accounts receivable. And the way that they were losing it is they were not on top of it, so their account receivable was just aging, which causes major cash flow issues. So we introduced a system that allows us to combine those 3 major sources and contributors to your profit margins, so you always have the reports and resources to make the most educated, profitable decision. So yeah, and that's been we've been in business for almost 4 years, but we've been doing accounting with a combined experience of 30 years.
I was introduced to it, I've always was in banking, but Letitia kind of brought me over to the other side of the accounting world, and then we kind of soared from there. But I would say Letitia kind of helped me push my way over to introduce me to the other side of accounting. So, yeah.
Really just, I saw a need in the community. I felt like that we really needed to serve our community and not make the numbers so scary. A lot of times when you are speaking of accountants or bookkeepers, it's not as easy, like personable. And so we wanted to make sure that you have that personable experience. Also that, it is a one-stop shop, that it is affordable, that we are providing accurate, usable information, and that we're actually a partner with you. As entrepreneurs, you get into this world of isolation. It's like you're on a desert island and trying to sort everything off, and that alone can be very stressful, especially when the money is what you need to fund the business and to get your dream up and off the ground. Having that business partner and someone who cares truly just as much about the success of your business as you do, to bounce that information off of and to make the right decisions. We saw that was not happening in your traditional accounting firms. Yeah, absolutely. We love that we are in Indiana because there's so much opportunity out there. With any entrepreneur, we all have our dreams and what it is that our small piece of changing the world, and really Indiana's the place to make it happen, from bakeries through owning your own manufacturing shop. And we've helped entrepreneurs from all walks, from your just small mom and pop, which you would think you're small until you hire us and then you start growing and you open your second location. But from your small little cupcake shops to your manufacturing to logistics, it's so much opportunity out there. Even with the remote, people think that jobs are kind of going away. I mean, they're blooming.
Yeah.
Well, you've been in business long enough now to be projecting to the future. What's the future look like for?
Oh, it looks amazing. We're growing and we're just taking it all in at this point. But our future is, especially here in Indiana, like you said, people are just wanting to own their own businesses and grow and everything. So it for us, that's wonderful because we're there to help them. So I think for us, it's wonderful. It's so wonderful.
When you get up in the morning and you get ready to go to work and you know what you got waiting for you and stuff, what is the thing that supercharges the most, kind of warms your heart about what you're doing right now in your lives and in this business?
Helping the people. I would say, that kind of gets us up and on our way. Like once we're, our mind is set, we're here to, it's our passion to help and to be out there in the community, and that gives me my little coffee I need.
And to kind of piggyback off of hers is to be able to celebrate those small or big moments with our clients of entrepreneurship, whether it be celebrating their first client, their first contract, what's that look like, how to obtain different funding, applying for grants. That's one of the things that we assist with, and for a grant to actually come through and you win that grant, that is something that both of us wake up and we love to hear about our clients' growth, our clients' success. And we're here with you through the downfalls as well, but definitely the client success, because that's exactly where we want to see the growth.
Time is short for this week's Business Equity and Opportunities. Thank you to all of our contributors who shared their stories and insights. We hope you found their information useful, perhaps inspiring. If you thirst for more information, quench it on our website, beoshow.com. There you can find past segments from our shows and each of the 7 weekly topics we tackle. Listen and subscribe to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast, part of the All Indiana Podcast Network. Sign up for our newsletter. Again, we update it every Tuesday. If you have questions or you'd like to be part of the work we're doing here, please email us, beo@wishtv.com. We're always looking for news stories to share. We are here every Sunday morning on Wish TV, and we stream the show live on wishtv.com. I'm Scott Sander. We'll be back with more Business Equity and Opportunities next week. Have a great Sunday.
Business Equity and Opportunities is made possible by Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results.